What's up? All right. I'm just going to wait a second. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat. I'll pull them up on screen. I'll pause the fight recap and then we can discuss it. But if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Say what's up. We'll respond to them as soon as I can. But we're just going to run through the card. I did miss a couple fights, so instead of just guessing about what happened and kind of just stopping the actual fight recap from actually gaining momentum, no, but in all seriousness, I missed the Francis Marshall, William Gomez. I didn't pay attention completely to that one. I missed, I think, a round of Norma Dumont versus Carol Rosa, and that was about it. So I'll probably skip over a couple fights here, but I don't think they're too important in general. But for the first matchup, we had Bakary Danaz, how they say his name now, and then versus Brady Highstand. This was a very interesting matchup. I thought it was pretty fun matchup in general. Brady Highstand was using a lot more movement towards the beginning of the fight. In the first round, I believe he was getting beaten up pretty badly. I believe he had a couple cuts on his face. But towards the end of that first round, he actually dropped Bakary Danaz, I believe. I don't know if it counted as an official knockdown or not, because it was kind of like just out of nowhere. But he hurt him very badly. They didn't give him the round, which is very interesting. And then I'll kind of go over that Semmelsberger fight too in a second. But they didn't give him the round, so I was like, all right, it makes sense. It's more like a flash knockdown than anything. Second round, he got beat up pretty badly. I think he got dropped at the beginning. Ended up getting the back of Bakary Danaz and then holding a rear naked choke attempt, which is pretty important in the judge's eyes. But I believe that knockdown at the beginning was very important towards that round because Bakary Danaz did win it. I think he did land a couple more punches that were pretty good towards the end of that round too. I think he had top position as well in that round. And third round, very interesting. Bakary Danaz wasn't really landing much. I think he got tired or something. But Brady Hyson ended up getting him against the fence and landed some really good punches, got him to the ground, and was basically just tapping against his head. A lot of people thought this was a really bad stoppage. I didn't think it was that bad of a stoppage. In all honesty, you basically have to operate how the ref, or basically follow what the ref is telling you. So if they're saying you need to move, you need to improve position, like he's just landing some punches that obviously like he's not moving and he's not covering himself. He's not like improving his position. The ref's going to be like, okay, you need to improve position. You need to improve position. I think he warned him like twice and he didn't. So that's why he stopped the fight. I think it was like over 20 shots. I didn't necessarily count, but it's definitely quite a bit of shots. 2 warnings. I don't think it was that bad of a stoppage in all honesty, but good one for Brady Highstand. Kind of comes out of nowhere and wins that bout. I think it was 4 minutes 21 seconds into round 3. So rough for Bakary Danaz for sure. He definitely had that fight won. So good win for Brady Highstand. He's only 23 years old, so he's definitely going to improve. 24, I guess his birthday's coming up, but he's definitely going to improve. So it won't be too. This isn't too bad on his record. Obviously, he'll improve. His stand-up will get a little bit better, but he'll look decent in that one. I missed this one a little bit, so I'm not going to go over it too much, but I believe it was a closer fight. I don't know who won this, so I don't really have an opinion on it. It was a split decision victory. For this one, I was here for Muhammad Usman versus Junior Tapa. I think I had stream issues, so I cut the first part of the fight companion out, so that's why it's not going to be in the fight companion. But Mo Usman versus Junior Tapa. Junior Tapa landed some really good punches at the beginning. It was kind of like a stalemate towards the beginning, in all honesty. More of Muhammad Usman putting him in the clinch. But towards the end of that round, Junior Tapa landed some really good punches and stunned Usman very badly. Second round, Usman got him to the ground, was able to control him on the ground. And basically that's how that round went, in all honesty. Junior Tapa just kind of accepted it with like 4 minutes in that round. It was basically just control time for Mo Usman. Same thing with the third round. At the beginning of the round, Junior Tapa was able to get into the ground. And again, or not Junior Tapa, but Usman was able to get Junior Tapa to the ground and control him there. And towards the end of that round, he kind of stunned Mo Usman a little bit, but it wasn't enough to get him the victory. I said this would kind of be an issue here. I said Junior Tapa is really good, but I think Mo Usman is going to be able to use his wrestling in this matchup. And I think that was going to be the real X factor there. And he ended up winning. So good win for Mo Usman, I guess. Junior Tapa is still very good. He's still 26 years old, so he can still definitely improve. There's a lot of just not knowing what to do on the ground for him, which was an issue for him. But Mo Usman, I don't think he's that good. I think his peak is probably going to be towards the top 10. Who knows at this point, because heavyweights are going to heavyweight, but his peak, I think, is probably going to be top 10. But it was a good win still. I'm not too impressed by Mo Usman in general, but good win for him. Moving on, Norma Dumont versus Carol Rosa. Again, I missed the second round of this fight. I think towards the end of the first round as well. I had it Norma Dumont, but it was a very close round in the first round. I think damage-wise, you can probably give that round to Dumont. But again, it was extremely close. Second round, I think Norma Dumont actually landed the better shots there, but the first round was super close. I heard the second round she landed the better shots, so I'm just gonna go with that. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I had to fix my stream or whatever. And then third round, I had Carol Rosa for sure. So because I believe she did drop Norma Dumont in that round, so I had Carol Rosa in that third round. But it looks like Norma Dumont won it, so I'm guessing they made the right decision there. I think some people were pretty annoyed by it online, but I mean, it just is what it is at this point. But I'm going to move on because I don't have much to say about that one. For this one, Montel Jackson versus Ronnie Yahya. Exactly how I thought it was going to go. Montel Jackson KOs Ronnie Yahya. I thought it went on a little bit longer than it should have. He probably could have set him up a lot more and finished it a lot earlier. He kind of just caught him and put him out there. I think he hit his head, put him out, hit his head on the ground, and woke him up. So he should beat Ronnie Yahya. I think same thing would have happened with Cody Garbrandt versus Ronnie Yahya. So there's nothing really to take from this. Montel Jackson did what he's supposed to do and beat an older guy that's not that good in the bantamweight division anymore. So good win for Montel Jackson in this one. Of the card, we have Christos Giagos versus Ricky Glenn. Got an early KO in the first round. I was super surprised with that. I thought for sure Ricky Glenn worked on his stand-up or something. He had 2 years off. I was assuming he was working on it. And lots of Christos Giagos. He got caught with a very good shot, right on the money. And then I believe it was the left. No, I'm sorry. I think it was the right side, and it was like more towards his temple when it like a left hook, and pretty much just got him off balance, went towards the ground. It was one of these fights. We had a couple fights on here where you could kind of question the stoppages a little bit. I can see it both ways for a lot of the stoppages on this card, where it's like, okay, they started moving towards the end and like, okay, well, it looks bad in retrospect. But in all honesty, like body language wise, you can tell like these guys were definitely out. But again, it would be also pretty nice to see if they were given a little bit of a chance too. So I understand it both ways, but good win for Ricky Glenn in this match. I'm sorry, for Christos Giagos in this matchup. Oh, up the card. Here we go. Oh boy. I've kind of settled down from this fight. But this one really pissed me off on my live stream. Jeremiah Wells versus Matthew Semelsberger. Now, listen. I think if you're going to judge a fight a certain way, I think there needs to be some kind of consistency in general. But the rules say it's damage-based scoring, effective striking, effective grappling. Effective grappling is holding a back, holding a submission attempt, something like that. And then it goes effective aggressiveness and effective control. So control time really isn't that necessary when, especially in this situation, I don't think it's that necessary. You got a takedown, got a couple slams, cool. Matthew Semelsberger knocked him down very badly in the first round. Like, you arguably could have, looking at all the stoppages on this card, if I can speak, you could argue that that fight could have been stopped. 1. 2, in the second round, he hurt him again, dropped him on the ground. Freaking Jeremiah Wells, when he got hit towards the ground, couldn't move because he was so like out of it. His arm was like tucked under his body. He couldn't move. That's how out of it he was with those knockdowns. But towards the first round, he got a takedown towards the end. It was basically on him. Didn't really land some of his punches. They were really just getting blocked. Semelsberger was keeping him close, blocking it with his elbows. Same thing with the second round. Second round, I think he even landed less. But I don't know how Jeremiah Wells won this fight. He won the third round pretty clearly. He got the takedown early on. But Matthew Semelsberger knocked him down. This isn't like a Dominic Cruz, Cheeto Vera, where Dominic Cruz is basically winning the whole round and gets flash knocked down and gets right back up. This is like Cheeto Vera versus Rob Font, where Rob Font's winning every single round until he's getting knocked down very badly. And Cheeto Vera's just like landing some ground and pound. Like, you could argue he could have been finished there. And they gave those rounds to Cheeto Vera. But Matthew Simmelsberger does not get those rounds in the first or second round. I just don't understand it. You arguably, especially in that first round, you arguably could have said they could have finished the fight. I don't know. I thought that was such a bad decision. 2 30-27s, I think, is ridiculous. I think 30-27 in general is ridiculous, especially for this fight. 29-28, make your arguments. I don't care. Well, actually, no. I think Matthew Simmelsberger should have won this fight, 100%. 29-28, we can have an argument. 30-27 is ridiculous. I thought 29-28 for Matthew Simmelsberger was a really good call. I believe they had it first 2 rounds for Simmelsberger and the last round for Wells, because Simmelsberger knocked him down, and this is damage-based scoring. And when you knock someone down, the idea is whoever gets the closest to winning the fight, or like towards the end of the fight. So if someone has a very deep submission, that is valued way more than someone that has like no super powerful, just say someone doesn't hurt someone on the feet and they have a very deep submission on the ground, the other person does. That very deep submission, that say they don't submit them, actually, it's just very deep, they get out of it, that's valued more than that. So I just don't understand the scoring here. I thought it was very bad. I don't know. I just don't get it for sure. It kind of just ruined the whole card for me towards like the main event. And honestly, it was kind of going that way the rest of the card. Yasmin Lucindo versus Brogan Walker. Lucindo landed some really good punches in the first. I think this was a 30-27. The second round was pretty close. You arguably could have had it either way, but I think the 2 takedowns won it for Lucindo in the second. And then third round, she just landed some really good punches against Brogan Walker. She's basically schooling her like she did in the first round. So very good win for Yasmin Lucindo. Only 21, by the way. Looked very good, especially for a women's MMA fighter. Moved up to flyweight. Looked very good. I think she's definitely got a future in the UFC for sure. A very good future. So keep an eye on her, 100%. Same thing with her and Yasmin Uruguay. Keep an eye on her. For this fight, Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon ends in a no contest, which really sucks. I thought Jared Gordon was actually winning the fight. He was actually hurting Bobby. I wouldn't say hurting, but he's landing the better shots on Bobby Green. Bobby Green was kind of at a different style this time. He kept his hands low. He's not like his... He wasn't really doing that. He's just kind of scrapping this fight. And it seemed like in the scraps, Jared Gordon was getting the best here. The finishing sequence, what round was it? I think it was like the first or second round. It was the first round, I think. So Bobby Green goes in for a lead elbow. Jared Gordon kind of moves out to the left, and I guess they headbutt, or Bobby Green headbutts Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon goes to the ground. He's looking up about Bobby Green, and Bobby Green lands a couple ground and pound punches, and Jared Gordon's out cold. It wasn't for long, but he definitely went out. He was unconscious for sure. They look at it. It was so theatrical. And honestly, I'm just going to be completely honest. Like, they did like the little reviews at the end. Like, Tanyon is like showing them like, look, it's the headbutt. And then they go in there. They bring Joe Martinez in there. They got all the guys together. They're like, the ref isn't in there, but they had the 2 guys. This fight by stoppage. Wait, hold on 1 second. We're going to look at the commission for review. It's like, it was the most WWE thing I've seen from the UFC in a little bit. 100%. It was just so dramatic, you know? But yeah, this is a no contest now. It sucks that this is how it ended. I think Bobby Green said something about him possibly retiring after this fight, so that kind of sucks for him. But I don't know what happens after this. Maybe you do the rematch, and then it doesn't really matter what Jared Gordon does after that. You do the Paddy Pimblett fight, because Paddy Pimblett says he might not even fight at all in 2023. So you kind of just want to put a filler in fight here, put it on some kind of card. I'm sure another card needs something, but Jared Gordon actually went out cold, so they might actually have to wait here. So we'll see what happens here. It kind of sucks, in all honesty. After the Simmelsberger fight and then seeing this has really just put me in a bad mood. But Bruno Silva versus Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares was actually landing some really good shots in the first round, and then they were both kind of trading. And then I believe, what did he get caught with? He got caught with... what was it? He got caught with like a straight right. And then that pretty much just like... No, I'm sorry. He got hit with I think it was a jab early on, kind of just fell forward a little bit. And then towards the end, he hit it like another jab or straight. And just, you could see when Brad Tavares got hurt, it looked like he was seeing stars. Like his eye just went straight and he just went down for like a second and a half. You can just see him go down, and then you can see him like regain consciousness a little bit on the ground. And he was kind of moving around a little bit, but you can tell like he was just like regaining himself a little bit, and he's moving around. But again, it was another one of those stoppages where like towards the end, you're like, okay, well, this is a little bit questionable. He was kind of moving around, like grabbing at something. Like he was like, why'd you stop it? Why'd you stop? Like you could tell he's kind of there, kind of needed to help himself up a little bit after being on the ground. But, you know, I don't think it's that bad of a stoppage. Good win for Bruno Silva after losing to GM3. Looks like he's back on the right track. So good for him. For our main event, we had Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blaydes, and this put me in a very good mood, in all honesty. At the beginning, I was really worried. In general, going into this fight, I was very worried because this was like my underdog guy. In my early prediction, I saw when this matchup was made, I'm like, I think Sergey definitely has a very solid chance at this, and I edged it to him, I believe, as I remember. And I was like, oh, I might go Curtis Blaydes for this card, and then I went back, and I'm like, all right, I think Sergey gets this done. I don't trust Curtis Blaydes at all in this one, and I have more trust in Sergey Pavlovich, in all honesty. So, at the beginning of this fight, 84-inch to 80 inches of reach, 4-inch reach advantage for Pavlovich. At the beginning of this fight, I was a little worried because Pavlovich was landing some decent shots, like a jab. He definitely used that jab really well, but was landing some good shots, and then Curtis Blaydes was landing some good shots also. So, like, once Pavlovich would throw, like, a jab, Curtis Blaydes would be there with the counter, and then it's not that it would be a crazy reaction for Pavlovich, but you can see, like, it was fast enough, and you can see him, like, kind of tank it a little bit. Like, it was landing clean on Pavlovich. So I was a little worried about that. Like, he couldn't really get the range down early for some reason. Curtis Blaydes was, like, super quick. I think after Curtis Blaydes started to feel some of that power, it started getting a little bit different. Pavlovich started to get quicker. He started throwing out that jab a little faster and moving out of range, and you'd see Curtis Blaydes like throw a hook, and he'd just completely miss. And then he would, I believe he hurt. I think he hit Curtis Blaydes with a right hook and put him down to the ground, got up immediately. Went against the fence, started charging at him, didn't get it necessarily. Curtis Blaydes kind of tanked that. Hit him with the jab, and he got like on him squiggly legs. And it was just a very crazy fight, in all honesty. It was a very crazy fight. And then Pavlovich kind of just goes after him. Curtis Blaydes misses with like another hook or throws another punch and miss. Goes for a takedown. That was a big thing here. Pavlovich got taken down 5 years ago in 2018 by Alistair Overeem and lost his debut. And I was like, when I saw that, I'm like, all right, it's 5 years. Like, this is his debut. Like, I won't put it too far on him. He's a Sambo guy. I'm sure he's probably improved that since 5 years ago. And I trusted him. And he did, at least in this situation where Curtis Blaydes was rocked. And it was pretty obvious he's going to go for a takedown here. He went for a takedown. Sergey Pavlovich stuffed it really well and just went after him. You knew Curtis Blaydes was pretty much done. He knew. I think he knew he was done. Once you saw him stuff the takedowns, kind of like Ngannou Stipe in that second fight, where Stipe had really good success with the takedowns on the first one. Once you saw Ngannou stuff that first takedown, you're like, oh shit, here we go. You know what I mean? It was, yeah. That's kind of the idea. You're like, okay, Sergey's probably going to win this. But yeah, Sergey hit him with a really slick uppercut, like a shovel uppercut. You can see it in Curtis Blaydes' face. You can see him like lose consciousness a little bit. He was rocked very badly. I think it was a right hook that put Curtis Blaydes pretty much out. He lost all balance. He was like going forward. He was just not there. And it was basically just sitting on the ground, just taking punches from Pavlovich, and it ends. So very good win for Pavlovich. He's probably, I think this was advertised. I wouldn't say advertised, but a lot of people were saying this is a title eliminator. I don't know who gets it over Sergey Pavlovich. I'm just going to be real. Not Gane, not Aspinall. You lost to Curtis Blaydes due to injury, so you can't really say that. He's a fight back from a Pavlovich, or maybe I still think Aspinall should get another fight, but actually, do I have UFC rankings popped up here? I do. Let me check something real quick. It's flyweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight. So we have Stipe and Jones doing a fight. Cyril Gane just lost to Jones, so he's not fighting anytime soon. Maybe, I don't know if you do Pavlovich versus Gane, because honestly, Pavlovich should just wait to see what happens with Jones Stipe. Curtis Blaydes can't do anything. Aspinall is the only one there. He beat Taito Iwasa. Can't really do Volkov because they're partners. You can't do Volkov in general. Can't argue he gets it over Aspinall. Like, it's just a very weird situation. If Jones does retire after the Stipe fight and say he does win, then I guess you do Pavlovich versus I guess you do Pavlovich versus Aspinall, because you can't give Gone another title shot. So that's where I think he'll probably go. Pavlovich should definitely wait it out. He's been asking for that 50K bonus. I think he did get the 50K bonus. I have all the performance of the night. We have Sergey Pavlovich with the performance of the night, Bruno Silva, Christoph Giagos, and Montel Jackson with 4 performance bonuses. The knockout bonus pretty much is what it is, or finishing bonus. So very good win for them. I believe if you are into combat sports, we have Tank Davis and versus Ryan Garcia coming up. So I'm not going to do a fight companion for that. I'm going to enjoy that one, eat some food, eat some dinner, because I'm super tired. But hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed the recap. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not super excited about next week's card. I'm just going to be honest. Well, I guess what Bellator's on if you're into that. Just a check real quick. Okay, they haven't even got there yet. So, but there's a Bellator card on. Davis Garcia. What else? UFC Fight Night next week. Main event Song Yadong versus Ricky Simone. Co-main event Cal Barajo versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Brundage versus Vieira. Iffy fight. Cortez Acosta versus Rogerio de Lima. That one could be interesting. I believe Angelusa got injured, right? So they're still looking for a fight for Josh Quinlan on this one, unless something happened where he's back on the card. I really was looking forward to this one because these guys both have crazy power. We have Martin Boudet versus Jake Collier. Juliana Rosa versus Fernando Padilla. Natan Levy versus Pete Rodriguez. I'm interested in that one a little bit. Cody Durden versus Charles Johnson isn't bad. Stephanie Egger versus, I'm probably going to skip that fight. Ryan Kelleher versus Journey Newsome. All right. That's that. Haley Cohen versus Jamie Lynn Horth. I mean, there's some really weird fights on this card. I mean, there's some good prelim fight night cards on the fight night matchups, but the main card's a little rough. Main event is nice though. I think they both deserve that spot. But yeah, that's what we got coming up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video or the live video. Very fun card in general. I'm happy it kind of just went through. They didn't stuff us with a bunch of promos. It was just one of those more relaxed cards. I don't even know if it was on ESPN. It was a very relaxed card, which I enjoyed. Didn't stuff us with too many ads. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys